Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Steve Ramona. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal and every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. Today's guest is going to light you up. You'll be motivated, you'll be challenged, and most importantly, you're going to walk away with tools that inspire action both in your life and the lives of others. Audience, here's your homework. How will you serve yourself and others today? Doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So lean in, take notes. Shout out to my two sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, and it deserves to perform like one. Want to think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer? Just text the word optimize to 72000. Optimize to 72000 and get instant access to 6 short, powerful videos, each just 3 to 5 minutes, that reveal simple strategies to unlock peak mental performance. Because when your brain is clear, your business grows. And Epic Impact, the storytelling system that helps your message connect and convert, it's just 4 steps. Engage, persuade, inspire, close with clarity. I use it every day for all my messages. Try it free at epicimpact.ai with code STEVE. Change your messages, change your results. Excited to announce Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast was named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you all of you, my guest and my audience. You've impacted so many people. Let's continue doing that. Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and I've got an incredible guest. As I say all the time, you talk 10 minutes. We're from the Bay Area. We have some connections. And that's the cool thing about being curious. We were just talking about that. Are you curious enough to ask questions? Let's jump into it. Alan, welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.
Well, thanks, Steve. Delighted to be on the show.
You mentioned curious as your superpower. Why is it so important to you?
Well, so first, let me just suggest that everyone listening was curious when they were a kid, okay? But somewhere between the sandbox and the world of adult life, we lose the knack for looking at things with a sense of wonder and possibility, even if that means our business or the place we work, looking and saying, why can't we make this better? And so I think curiosity is fundamental. Look, the world is changing super fast, and we have to keep up with it, whether we're an entrepreneur in an established business or even in our lives. We have to keep up with it. And the only way I think we keep up with it is to pay attention, be curious about the world around us, look at the changes that are happening, and then challenge ourselves to be more impactful as the world changes.
Love to challenge ourselves. I try to do that every day. It changes you. I don't care if you're 64 or 24, it will change you. How does somebody be curious when they lead a company?
Okay, so here's a good thing about that. And I think curiosity is really simple if we're open to it, because curiosity is really about being humble and being present. So here, if I led a company, here's a hack I would do tomorrow. I would commit that one day a month, we actually ask all of the members of our team to get out of the office and wander around. If you're in a city, it's easy, lots going on. If you're in kind of a small town and there's a lot of nature, lots going on in nature, you just have to look at it a different way. But challenge everyone on your team to get up, away from your office, engage the world around you, and look for things they think are remarkable. Okay, so I give people little pads of paper. I guide a lot of teams doing this, but I give them little pads of paper and I say, I don't care about your business today. What I care about is that the world is filled with remarkable ideas and possibilities. I want you to find some of those, and then we're going to take them back and think about whether those ideas could help your business be more successful. So I think that's an easy thing to do, but I think most leaders don't get up. They don't challenge their people to get up. They don't realize that as they sit in their office, the world is changing as it passes by them.
I'm a hack man. You give me hacks, I'm going to eat them up. Like that's beautiful and simple, but the ROI, the return on impact, is amazing. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah, so it's huge, right? Think about this. I want everybody to think about that. You have a core business, and maybe the customers love you today, but 5 years from now, they need to love you for some different things, okay? And so, getting out and engaging the world and thinking about new things we might test with the customers is going to challenge our ability to reach our potential and consistently deliver value for them. I think if we just keep doing what we're doing, no matter how great we are at it, there's going to come a day when somebody's going to disrupt us.
Yeah, value, value, value. You could say that a million times. People need to hear that. It's we're missing that in this world days. So we want to pitch and transact and sell. Let's bring value first, and then that other stuff comes. I love it. So, servant leadership and innovation. How are they bridged together? Because they're completely different things.
Well, yes and no. Okay.
Okay.
So, I love the topic, the theme of your podcast, because everyone listening ought to embrace the idea that if we're leaders, our job is to unlock the genius in all the people in our organizations. So, what would I do as a servant leader that maybe I'm not doing today? I'd begin with, and I've written a new book called The Wisdom of Ignorance, and this is one of the key themes. So I'd love people to think about this. I begin by making sure that the purpose of our organization is clear and compelling, that we're doing something that people wake up and want to do, that what we do really matters. But that's not good enough. And I can put it on my website, I can tell customers, but I need as a leader to make a connection with every single person in our organization so that they understand why what they do matters to us achieving our purpose. And then I need to say, great, this is what we're trying to do. We don't have all the answers. What we're going to do is, and I'm not going to provide all the answers as a leader. I'm going to tell you what I think are the challenges. I'll get your feedback. And then together, we're going to go on a journey to figure it out. That to me is servant leadership. Is I suggest where we want to go, but I'm not entirely wedded to it. I ask people to give their input, and then we all agree where we're going to go, and then we figure out how to make it happen as a team.
That's powerful. I love that. And I say this all the time, but it sounds simple, but it's still hard to do because not everybody's doing it.
Well, it sounds simple, and I want it to be simple. I want it to be
Yeah.
muscle memory. I want leaders to understand in a fast changing world, we can't know it all. So let's just be honest. I don't know it all. I like to say, a lot of people talk about, I rise to a point of leadership and then I feel, am I an imposter? We're all imposters until we're not imposters, okay? So the reality is, none of us know exactly what we need to do to be relevant in the future, but all of us can try and figure it out. But we have to do it together. But why is it hard for leaders? Because leaders believe they got that job because they really have it all together in a neat little pile, and that they're the best, and everybody's going to respect them and they know so much. And my book, The Wisdom of Ignorance, is all about the notion that actually knowing a lot doesn't make us remarkable. Knowing a lot makes us better. Knowing nothing gives us the chance to be remarkable. And so leaders have to say, we don't know the best way to do this. Let's figure it out and then let's do it and be awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that word because awesome can be perceptive in many different ways. But let's just go to be awesome or incredible, two great words. So, what does a CEO have to do to really bring the culture for this company, 5 employees to 5,000 employees, to be a servant leadership culture, not just them themselves, but the whole team?
Well, perfect. So here's what I would suggest, and these are the 6 things I talk with leaders about, and they're kind of the formula in the wisdom of ignorance. The first we just talked about, and that's purpose, is if I'm going to be a leader, I have to take some responsibility for making sure that again, purpose is clear, but that everybody knows that they play a part in purpose. So that's the first thing. The second we talked about too, and that is leaders need to create a culture of curiosity. And so leaders need to say, we're pretty darn awesome today, but we need to be better tomorrow. And we have to be curious about finding out or figuring out how to do that. And so that's where when I say leaders should, I don't want to say free everybody to leave the office once a month, but leaders should say, we're going to take a day once a month. We're not like productive 100% of the time. We're going to take a day once a month. We're going to block it all on our calendars, and we're going to go out and engage the world curiously and see if there are clues to how we can be better. That's the second thing. The third is humility. And that is leaders need to create a culture in which it's okay to say, I don't know the answer. It's not okay to say I don't know the answer and I don't care, but it's okay to say the answer if that challenges me to want to figure it out. And so leaders can say, I don't know the answer to this problem, but they have to follow it by saying, but I want us to figure it out. I'm not happy to not know. We can do it. We're smart enough as a group to do it. The fourth is leaders have to say to everybody, I respect every single person in our organization, no matter what job they do, no matter whether they're a senior executive or the person that tidies up at the end of the day. And I'm going to go out to every person and ask them for their ideas on how we can be better. Similarly, when I engage the world, no one is beneath me. I travel around and I have a PhD. That was a pretty insane thing to do. But people will say, Dr. Gregerman, and I'll go, no, you can call me Alan. I'm really no different than you. It's just I wasted a lot more time in school than you did. But, there's a backstory. I was a pretty mischievous high school student. I actually was suspended from high school 4 times for pranks. I didn't do anything that was really wrong. I was just
Right.
having a good time that the administrators absolutely didn't think was funny. But so I don't end up getting a PhD, but do I take myself seriously in that? Absolutely not. Okay, so respect. So ideas can come from everywhere. I would even argue, I wander around our town here in Washington, D.C., and while I'm cashless, I see homeless people. I ask them if I can buy them a meal if they'll let me sit and talk to them. That's kind of a crazy idea, isn't it? And they look and say, why would you want to talk with me? And I say, because you're another human being, and I believe I can learn something from you. And the variety of things I've learned from people who right now are homeless because they got a few bad breaks in their lives, but at one point were successful often, are absolutely unbelievable. And companies are always talking about, oh, we need to be resilient. You want to figure out how to be resilient, talk with somebody who has had to figure out how to live on the street for a couple of years. So respect, I believe everyone I walk by, I can learn something from. The fifth is I need to be future focused, okay? If I'm not future focused, I and our business become irrelevant over time. So many folks say to me, well, Alan, you don't understand. Our customers love us. And I say, your customers love you because they haven't found anything better yet. If they find something better, 3 young guys in a garage who have a different business model that uses AI or technology, they'll drop you in a heartbeat. So don't kid yourself. You got to be the ones who innovate. So future focus means, again, we're curious. We go out there, we see where the world's going, and we try to hit that target. We try to do experiments that move our business toward being ready and able to deliver value in the future. And the last one, which I have to admit, when I was writing the book, my wife didn't think was great, is I believe that it's really awesome to be paranoid. Now, your listeners are going to say, wait, paranoid, what do you mean? And this is what I mean. Whether you realize it or not, somebody is gaining on you. Somebody's following you and gaining on you. If you have a good business or you're in a good industry or you have really good customers, somebody says, I wouldn't mind having those folks. And so they're thinking about how to overthrow you. That's not a great word, but it came out.
It
They're
works.
thinking about how to overthrow you. They're thinking about how to overtake you, okay? And so you've got to be cognizant of that. And you honestly need to ask all of your people, how do you think somebody could overtake us? And then you need to get there first. And so that's the idea of paranoid. And so I think it's great because knowing that people are following me makes me pay attention, and makes me come into work each day knowing I got to run faster. And so those are really the six things. And I think leaders' jobs as servant leaders are to build a culture in which leaders acknowledge those and they encourage everyone in the organization to only not only acknowledge but live those things and be regularly bringing ideas in that could make us better.
Incredible list. You just made somebody $1 million that's listening to this right now. I'm not dead serious. Not that money's important, but those are steps. And I want to talk real quick about the homeless story. I talk about law of reciprocity, and you just nailed it. I'm going to give you a meal. I just gifted you. I served you. They serve you back by educating you about resilience, where they started from, their story. Audience, I talk about how you can serve. That is the greatest tip Alan could give you. Well, one of the greatest tips. Go out and do that. That's just powerful. Not everybody will, and that's okay, but I love that. But purpose, here's the problem with purpose that I've seen. I've mentored a lot of people like you have. Well, not many as you, but they're like, what's your purpose? They go, I don't really know what that is. How do they find their purpose, and how important it is to find it as a leader?
Okay. So I feel like I don't expect everyone, especially kids who've just gotten out of school or people who've entered the workforce, whether they went to college or not. I don't I don't need them to be absolutely focused on the be all end all purpose of their life at that moment. What I'd like them to do is I'd like them to find a place, a company or organization where the purpose resonates with them at that moment, okay? Where they say, I believe in what this company or organization is doing, and I want to be part of helping them to be successful. Over time, I'll see what really matters to me, and I hope I'll gravitate either to another company or starting my own company or starting a social enterprise, but I'll gravitate to some. But at first, just find a place in which you say they do good stuff, and be part of that and learn from them.
That is a great tool for Gen Z. I think that's what they're called. I always forget these Gen Z, Gen P, Gen Purple.
You're not our generation. Let's
That's
be.
thank you, Alan. Okay, not our. That's perfect. I like that because I think kids nowadays are jumping on jobs because of money, or not expertise, but how the identification. Hey, I work for this company, Apple or whatever it may. Nothing against Apple, but you know what I mean. That's a really cool tool because they're going to stay longer and get more out of it with that.
Now there's a responsibility, and that is when somebody arrives, they're wide-eyed, they're optimistic, they want to help us be better. We can't wait months before we ask them how to help us to be better, right? So we need the day they arrive for them to look at us honestly, to ask them, what do you like about us? To look around and then say, what things could we be doing better? Because remember, anyone who's new has a real value to us because they've been somewhere else, right? So they have some different perspectives. We sit in our office, we all think alike over time. We don't have the outside perspective. So when the outside perspective comes, don't just put them at a desk and make them do more of what we already do. Ask them how we can be better. If I do that at the outset, I get them to be more vested and more engaged in our organization. And I really feel like I'm going to get way more out of them because they're going to work way harder because they know from day one I actually believed in them.
You're throwing out so many hacks here. I'm running out of paper here. I love it.
Okay,
I love it. I'm gonna say that.
I'll send you some paper now.
Oh, yeah, thank you. See, Alan, we're already connected. I love it. Ask how I can be better to your employees is
Right.
what a statement.
It
Now, what
totally changes the relationship that an employee has with the company.
and the culture
Oh yeah.
and what they're talking about when they go outside the company. Hey, I work with Alan. He asked me how I can, be better. He's asking me, the president, how we could be. It's so
Now, if you
awesome.
want a technique for it, here, go to
Yes.
Staples or your favorite office supply store
Yeah.
and buy a bunch of 99-cent clipboards. And then on the clipboards, give every new employee a piece of paper with a line down the middle. And on this side, I'm facing opposite. On one side is the word brilliant, okay? And on the other side is the word clueless. Then ask them when they arrive for the first 2 days to meet as many people as they can, sit in on meetings, have lunch in the lunchroom, and then write down everything they see in our organization where they say, I am so lucky to be here. These folks are brilliant. And then have them certainly brief the management team, but then ask them to write down everything they see where they say, gee, have these people been living in a cave for a while? Do they have any idea what's going on in the world out there? And then say to them, I want you to pick one of the things that you think we're clueless at. You've gone around and talked to people to find a few people who've already been here who you think might be interested in that idea, and I want you to solve that in addition to your job. I guarantee you they'll not only be a high achiever, they'll stay with your company.
That is, again, it's so simple, but the action of doing it is where people have to take that action. It's great hearing all this, but if you don't go grab a clipboard and do what you said, it's worthless. So take the action, right?
Yeah, and if any of your listeners want to connect with me, and I'll glad to share the details of how to do it, it's not very hard to do. I've had the privilege, of working with 400 companies around the world. So I hope I've helped them figure out something in the time I've worked with them.
You work with 400 companies. Yeah, you've done some good things in the world. That's for sure. We're coming to the end. I got a couple more questions. You told me Mel Robbins wrote the forward to the book.
Right. Well, she wrote a quote that's on the cover of my
Of the
book.
book.
Yeah.
What resonated with her in your book?
Well, so think about it. I feel like Mel Robbins is a remarkable story. I mean, she's awesome, but I think her story is one in which she reached kind of a difficult point in her life and kind of reinvented herself. And my sense is with all the things she does, write, podcast, run a business, she didn't have a lot of the skills that were required to do that at the start. She's figured out how to be brilliant at it. So I think what resonated with her and what resonates with me when I think about her is the idea that most people who make a compelling difference start out and just start. There's power in starting something. There's power in, if you have a good idea, you don't have to have all the answers. There's power in starting. Just get out in the world and share your idea. We're in a really good time because nobody expects a perfect product anymore. Nobody expects, the Apple Watch, which is in its like 11th iteration. Nobody expected it to be perfect. It was good enough in the first iteration. Now it's pretty awesome. I actually use a lot of the apps on here. Um, Nobody expects a $2,000 Dyson vacuum cleaner anymore. When he came up with the first cordless vacuum cleaner and charged $2,000, he didn't let it out into the world till it was technically perfect. Now people expect, do you have a good idea that will make my life better or make our company or organization better? If you do, put it out there. Give me what you've thought about. I'll help you to make it better. And then we'll continue to refine it over time. It'll keep getting better. Nothing needs to be perfect. Things need to add value to the people we serve, and things need to help us solve bigger problems, societal problems that we haven't solved before. Don't
Yeah.
not do something because you don't think you're smart enough.
So you just changed the Nike logo, the Nike tagline. Just start, just do it.
Well, no, I like that actually.
I like that
writing
too.
that. I'm writing that
Write
down.
that down. Just start, just do it.
Right.
Because you can't just do it until you start.
Right.
And business, that is, and audience and Alan, podcast is the way. I mean, after 10 podcasts, people quit.
Right.
So they do the start, and then we won't get to that because we're running out of time. We'll bring you back for part 2 if you're willing, because so much more we could cover and talk. This is so wonderful what you're telling us. Because I've helped a lot of people, and they just, yeah, let me help you. Spend an hour with them. 6 months go by, they haven't launched a podcast. I'm not judging. It's okay. But you're just saying start, see what happens.
Right.
Beautiful.
Well, I think there's if we believe in something, there's power in starting, because starting then makes us get curious, as we talked about earlier, and it makes us want to learn more. And then we start to see the full potential of our idea, and then we work really hard to make it happen. I would say we work like a dog, but we have 3 dogs, and they spend a lot of time lying around in my office. And so I'm not sure they're working super hard, but we start something, we see that it has merit, or we see that it doesn't have merit, we start something else. I believe if you start something, even if it doesn't work out, you'll start something else and you'll land on doing something that matters. And that's what I'd like people to do. I really believe we all have the potential to do something, but we got to get started first.
Business pivot. Doesn't work, pivot to something else. And here's the thing. You all want to be successful out there. This is what Alan's brilliance has brought out. You can't be successful if you don't start. You just can't. Musk, Cuban, Gates. I mean, I can say all those names. They had to start. That's brilliant. I love what you're saying. I really love this. Let's have some fun. Let's do a real quick improv.
Okay.
So I've got a table at a restaurant reserved for you. I'm going to sit with you, but I want to know who you would invite to talk to get wisdom from, to be curious with, whether dead or alive, doesn't matter. So those 3 seats, who would you fill them with? But more
Oh
importantly,
God.
what food are you going to order for the table for all of us?
Well, so the last one is pretty easy because, as my family will say, I am absolutely addicted to Thai food. There's something about Thai food. I mean, I love all food, let's be honest. But I really like Thai food. I like the spices of Thai food. I mean, I like Italian food. I like Indian. Okay, so there's probably not a cuisine that I don't like, but I probably order Thai food for people, and I have some particular things I'd like. Who would I invite? Oh, that's a tougher one, okay? So, um, I would invite Norman Juster, the author of the book The Phantom Toll Booth, which I have to be honest, it's like 60 years old, is my favorite book of all time. Okay, and another time I'll talk about the details of that, okay? Um, I would invite Jonas Salk, who came up with the polio vaccine, because his vaccine was the opposite of what every leading researcher was doing. And he suddenly said, that's not working. Let's take a fresh look. So I'd love to know that. Um, I would hopefully, I don't know, I'd invite Oprah. I think she's such a classic story of somebody who became amazingly influential just by being authentic and finding her voice and finding a platform for it. So, I mean, I'd invite more people, but those are 3 people that come to mind right away.
We'll start there, and we have to bring more tables in, and we'll do it. We'll just build
Okay.
on it. And I love about Oprah. She was very curious. That's why she was a great interviewer.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from
Okay.
talking to people that work with her. It's brilliant what you put in that table. I can't wait to sit down and eat there in my dream. It's going to be
But do you
great.
like Thai food?
I do, and I'm
Okay.
actually thinking about Thai tonight.
Okay,
As you're
good.
thinking about my mom got me into it. My wife likes it, so yeah,
Okay.
try it. And I'll try anything. I'm like you. I'm a foodie. I'll try anything. Just can't eat a lot of it.
Well, now I'm thinking about, I do like eggplant parmesan. Okay, no, we're talking about too much food now. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Okay.
I've got to tell you, Alan, just met you today. You're incredible because you're coming from the heart and you're transparent with us and you really served my audience today. I know people listening want to connect with you. How can they do that?
Yeah, so that's great. Well, first, thanks for having me on the show. I've loved the conversation. I hope what I've shared has been valuable to the people who've been listening. You can reach me through my website, which is simply alangregerman.com, ALANGREGERMAN.com. My guess is it'll be in the show notes. I don't know, so
Yes.
they'll see
Yep.
that. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. A lot of people hear me on podcasts, they follow me. I would actually prefer if you connected with me because I'd like to learn from you. So I don't want you just paying attention, though I do post a lot of stuff, but I'd rather that I knew who you were and that we knew each other. Um, so those are probably the 2 easiest ways. You can send me an email, whatever. Yeah, just you can find me. Just Google Alan Gregerman and then you'll find ways to find me. And certainly, I would love it if people grabbed a copy of The Wisdom of Ignorance. And I really feel this book will be valuable. And if not, I'll offer all your listeners the following promise. If somebody buys the book and doesn't find it valuable, let me know. I'll Venmo them the money back.
Man, Alan, you're inspiring me. So you know what I'm going to do now? Audience, the first 3 people that reach out to Alan, LinkedIn, whatever, you mentioned this podcast, I will send those 3 people the book for free.
Oh, well, that's very
You
kind
don't
of you.
even have to
Thank you.
Venmo them. So let's get the book in their hands,
Okay.
and so
Awesome.
they can share it with others. So he'll let me know. Hey, so, Joe Smith reached out, and I'll get your address, and I'll Amazon you a book, and let's make more of an impact.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're very
Appreciate it.
welcome. And audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And this is a perfect podcast because you know what he's talking about? We all need this. We all need to be curious. And you're talking to a friend, a family member, and they're like, God, I'm struggling. Are you curious? Well, no, what do you mean? Here, listen to Alan. I just listened to him on a podcast. To me, these are gifts. These are just not podcasts, they're gifts because it might impact that person and change their lives. You don't know until you do it. What's he say? Start by sharing it. And it doesn't have to be my podcast. Subscribe to all the podcasts that resonate with you and share them out like they're gifts. And you'll see some great things happen. With that being said, me and Alan want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.